Hello everybody, for today's video we'll be taking a look at the grocery store props collection, which is currently one of the free assets for the month of November. It has a size of around 2 gigabytes and has a normal price of 35 USD. Going into the preview level, or what I would call an overview level, and you would find what would normally be in a storefront or a warehouse. You can see different types of shelves. And the details are not too bad. By the way, those are using opacity mask for the holes on the shelves. Some bottles, cardboards, some food props. They are a bit low poly, however. Got other shelves, fridges. And by the way, most of these have separated functional parts for the doors, like these. But not for these horizontal types. And not for the fridge as well. Other refrigerators, sink, carts, different types, baskets and bags, doors and signs, some sofas and CCTV, cashier, and some plants. It says it's around 420 something props. So there are lots of props here. This includes the bathroom. By the way, this mirror doesn't have a roughness of 0, so that's why it's a bit blurry. Some gas extinguishers, air conditioners, vents, that sliding door. Looking at the lighting only view mode, you can see the vegetations are using opacity. As for the collisions, they are set to complex by default for some reason. As for the wireframe, we can see that they are sort of low polyish. For the further structure, we got the materials, the preview scene, the meshes, and the textures. Although there's only 2, because the textures are located with the static meshes along with most of the materials. So it's a weird folder setup in my opinion. As for the dimensions of the textures, we got 171 4K, 48 2K, 3 1K. That should be about it. Only these do have alpha channels. As for the vertices, most of them are below 5000. And they're about 56 mesh, more than one material. They do have LODs around 4 for most. And they do have extra unused UV channels, and it's like 296 meshes, so it's not something trivial. So the light map seems to be repeated. And we have around 45 materials and 4 instances. And to make matters worse, the ambient occlusion, roughness, metallic are not packed into one texture. They are separate textures each. And of course, as you saw, the materials don't have much customization, if any at all. Looking at the UVs, we can see that it's actually packed well, but this texture is being shared by more than this ladder mesh. You can see only a little part has been reused. Let's look at the hammer, which is also symmetrical, and we see that no parts have been reused on the UV space. For the sides, the UVs have been reused. For this one, kind of the same, they have been reused. The bottoms to share, same. This approach might be beneficial if used with nanite, as it reduces draw calls but have other trade-off. Let's look at the UV for mesh that have only one material. Yeah, let's look at I would say the roughness would be an occasion indicator to see how it's packed. That mesh wasn't that good representation. There is one here, shelf that have only one material. If you look at the roughness map, we can see that a lot of the packing is really good. As for collision, as we saw, it uses complex collision by default, so let's change that. Collision complexity. Let's use the project default, which is simple. And now we can see the collision. And actually the shapes are not bad. I mean, these are primitive shapes themselves, the meshes, but the simple shapes are not bad, and this is the complex, so you can see the difference. Of course, simple is much more performant. Look at the door. Overall, okayish pack. It does have LODs. Some of the functional parts are being separated, like some of the doors here and there. The UV packing is good with no or minimal wasted space. However, it have a lot of downside, including not having master material for the props, and the ambient occlusion of metallic haven't been packed into one texture. The UVs are not being reused that much. The UVs are being shared by more than a mesh. I mean, like I said, this can be beneficial for nanite, but otherwise it's not that favorable approach in my opinion. And the mirror roughness should be 0, not 0.1. There are extra unused UV channels on a lot of meshes. The collision is set to complex by default. Not much material customization, if any, and messy folder structure. Hope you found this useful. Have a great day.